Spoops, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. So today I'm going to be doing my September favorites. Also, if you're not already, definitely make sure that you're subscribed to my YouTube channel because as most of you know, Halloween is right around the corner and I like to celebrate the season by uploading a new Halloween themed makeup tutorial every weekday for the entire month of October, so that is something you guys definitely don't want to miss. And I also plan on doing a huge Halloween giveaway to thank you guys for all of your support, so definitely stick around for the next video where I'm going to be talking a little bit more about that huge Halloween giveaway that I plan on doing. So anyways, with all that being said, if you guys are interested in seeing the items that I have been loving throughout the month of September, then just keep watching. So to get started, I'm going to be talking about these Pixie Beauty palettes. These are brand new and I actually received them in PR. Pixie Beauty is currently the only brand that has put me on their PR list, and honestly it just makes me feel so happy and grateful. And I know it might come across as materialistic, but it honestly is just really nice to have a brand supporting you, especially when you're trying to make this your career. Knowing that a brand recognizes your effort and skill and talent really means a lot because it's not easy getting on PR lists by any means, and honestly it shouldn't be, but it makes me really happy that Pixie Beauty does believe in me, that I do actively receive PR from them. So these items I actually recently received in their latest PR package and I decided to use them. I used them for my sour makeup tutorial and I just fell in love with these. The formulation was absolutely amazing. So the first one that I'm going to talk about is the Pixie and Tina Young palette. This is an eyeshadow palette and I'm currently wearing it on my eyes right now, and I just absolutely love the formula of this. It does have a little bit of fallout, but overall the formula is so smooth and blendable and creamy, and it's so soft too, which is really nice that you can, like, if it chips a little bit, you can even like blend it back together. So I really love the formulation of the eyeshadows and I think it just looks absolutely beautiful on the eyes, and so this was definitely really fun to play around with. And then moving on, we have the face palettes. So the big star for this one is I love their contour kit. They have some amazing contour shades in this. However, the blush palette is just spectacular. I have been using these two on my face. I'm currently wearing them on my cheeks right now, and I just think they come together to create such a beautiful pink flush. But what I love about it is the iridescence on the cheeks looks so natural and beautiful. It's not too much of a highlight, which is good. So for the blush, I like to use Icing and Glazed, and for the highlight, I like to use Lit. But I just love how it makes my skin look, and it looks so beautiful and natural, and I just, once again, the formula of these is fantastic. And this was the last palette that they sent me in the PR package. This is their lip palette, and I wanted to throw it in here because I personally haven't used it yet. However, I know I'm going to be working some weddings in this upcoming fall, and so this palette is definitely a dream if you are a working makeup artist and you need something that you can just, like, you know, use a spatula and pull out of. This is beautiful, and I love the color selection that they give you. So if you are a working makeup artist, I definitely wanted to mention this for that reason, because the moment I saw it, I'm like, this is gonna go in my makeup kit because that is definitely what I'm gonna get the best use out of this for. And of course, if you're playing around with new looks and you can't always have multiple lipsticks, I'm very grateful and I have a bunch of lipsticks that I can use for my tutorials. But if you don't have that ability yet, getting something like this would definitely help you in kickstarting playing with makeup, because you have so many different color options to choose from that you can really create anything that you want. So these are the Pixie palettes that I'm absolutely in love with. Once again, I'm just so grateful that they believe in me enough to even send me stuff like this. It means a lot. And so I really enjoy it, so definitely if you guys want to check it out, I highly recommend them. So my next favorite is actually a liquid blush, and I have been so excited to experiment with liquid and serum blushes. I still have it on my list that I want to try the Rare Beauty liquid blush because I've heard so many amazing things about that. But when I was doing some shopping at Ulta this summer, I came across this Ulta Beauty brand Stay Cheeky liquid blush, and this is in the color Dusty Pink, and this is absolutely gorgeous on the cheeks. I actually find that they have an amazing formula for their liquid blush. I tried the ColourPop Cheeky Dew serum blush, but it's hard because I feel that you really have to, like, almost shake up this serum blush in order to get it to combine, because mine always starts to separate, and so I find that the consistency of this is a little bit strange. I'm still playing around with it. It could just be this one color. I know I'm ordering some more colors that I can try and play around with, but this consistency and formula is absolutely beautiful, and I I think it looks so stunning on the cheeks. And so if you guys want to look for a liquid blush, I highly recommend this one, especially in the color Dusty Pink. I want to go back and get a few more maybe darker shades for this fall, but I also did get their highlight color as well, so I'm excited to try that one out too. But definitely check out the liquid blushes by Ulta Beauty. My next favorite was a Ross find, and this is actually something similar to what I've mentioned in a previous video. So what I'm going to be sharing with you guys is the Advanced Clinicals Hydro Boost Toner. And so what I've shared with you guys in the past is the Advanced Clinicals 𝐒𝐸 Toner. So these are obviously from the same brand and they're relatively similar, but I hardcore fell in love with this toner throughout the entire past year, and it's just been absolutely amazing. I have one in this film room, and then I also have one in my bedroom as well. And so whenever I was just doing some shopping at Ross, I saw that they have a hydrating one. And so for me, I have been just loving, like you guys probably saw in my last favorites video, just getting some facial mists that even if I'm going to bed, I can just spray some on my face just to help rehydrate it throughout the day. And it just feels really, really nice. And so I've really been loving the Hydro Boost Toner because I feel like it's really been refreshing my skin. And also whenever I get sunburnt, this has some aloe vera in it as well, so I definitely like to use it for that purpose as well. So that was it for my beauty favorites, and now we're going to be moving on to some entertainment favorites. So to start off, it is actually a book, and I started reading this book back in November, and I was honestly just either so busy or just decided to take my free time into doing other things, but I've just fallen in love with this book. This is one of Sarah J Maas's new books, and this is Crescent City. I absolutely love this book. Please don't let it dismay you that it took me so long to finish, meaning that that has any reflection on the book. That is literally just me and not having enough free time to read and do the other things that I've been doing, like playing video games and stuff like that. So whenever I have free time, I kind of have to pick and choose what I use it for, and don't we all? Sarah J Maas is my absolute favorite author of all time, and she wrote my favorite book of all time, which is A Court of Mist and Fury, which is the second book in the Court of Thorns and Roses series. I've read all of her books so far. They are absolutely amazing and just breathtakingly beautiful, and so this is her newest series that she has been working on. Where her previous books were based a little bit more in like a past fantasy setting, this one is a more futuristic fantasy setting. So I think it's absolutely amazing. It is so good. The character development of all of the characters is just really refreshing to read. I love the way that she builds the scenes and the characters, and just there's so much about this book to love. I think it has some amazing plot twists as well, which she just always does an amazing job with. So if you guys are looking to check out a new fantasy book, then I highly recommend The Crescent City by Sarah J Maas. So next we're going to be moving on to movie favorites, and this first movie is probably my favorite movie of 2021 so far, and probably my new favorite Marvel movie, not even gonna lie, and that is Shang-Chi. Shang-Chi is so insanely amazing. It is my favorite Marvel movie that they've made so far, and that's saying a lot because Infinity War and Endgame are both huge blockbuster movies, and then also the other individual movies that I would say are my favorite are Black Panther and Doctor Strange. I just think they're so well done, but seeing Shang-Chi, this is definitely just my favorite of all time now. Because I'm not gonna lie, I saw Mulan for the first time like a month ago, and disappointed would definitely be an understatement, because I think everybody knew that out of all of the Disney movies that they could make into a live action, Mulan was the one that like you could not screw up. There's just so many amazing things about the animated version that you just have to make sure translate well into a film, and it fell pretty short in my opinion. Now for me, you know, I understand why they didn't incorporate the music and stuff like that. That's not the end of the world. You know, they didn't do that with Cinderella either, and Cinderella is amazing. However, the main thing that I would say is the fight scenes in Mulan were very, very, very lackluster, and that is not a movie where that should have been the case. However, you compare that to the fight scenes in Shang-Chi, and I will say that Shang-Chi probably has the best fight choreography out of any movie I've ever watched, which is so impressive and amazing to watch. Every single piece of combat that they do is so intentional, and it just looks absolutely beautiful on the screen. So if you're a fan of, you know, fighting choreography, definitely check it out for that reason alone. But then there's so much more to that. The storyline is so amazing. They have great comedic moments throughout the movie, which I think is so well done. And then also the CGI and animation and bringing a little bit more of like the fantasy atmosphere even more into the Marvel universe was just so beautiful to see. I cannot say enough good things about the movie, so if you can, definitely go over to the theaters to watch it for yourself because you will not regret it. It is absolutely amazing. My next movie favorite is Dear Evan Hansen. Now I will say I do still have some criticisms of the movie just because, you know, the musical itself is so beautiful, and when you translate a story like that into a movie, it would be very easy, I think, to mess it up or fall short. And I think that they did in a few ways, but overall, I think that it is still so well done. I think what comes out of it is I still absolutely love the movie, and I think it's a great opportunity that, you know, if you can't go watch it on Broadway or watch it on tour, you still have access to seeing this beautiful story. But when you have experience to compare it to the Broadway soundtrack and musical, you can kind of definitely see more areas where it needs improvement. So for example, this is definitely a personal opinion, but I do feel like what was really amazing about the Broadway musical was how they were able to bring a lot of cool technical aspects to life through a musical with, you know, example of all the screens and text messages and Facebook posts and how they really utilized screens. And I feel like for the movie musical, I think they actually should have tried to make it a little bit more cinematic in the sense of maybe creating more unique lighting or scene framing and, you know, do a little bit more with CGI in the sense of transitions. Like the only really notable transition that I personally saw was whenever they kind of like did the zoom out of all of the faces and it went into Connor's face, and that was kind of reminiscent of, you know, the poster of Dear Evan Hansen, how his body is made up of a bunch of different photographs. So that was really cool to see, but I wish I would have seen more cinematography in Dear Evan Hansen. The way it felt to me was that it was a lot of just straight shots, which, do not get me wrong, I am also obsessed with one-shot takes, like when everything is done in one single shot. Haunting of Hill House is absolutely notorious for that, and it is so beautiful and impressive because that is a very theatrical thing to do. But I will say the way it just felt is it just felt kind of bland, and this is, you know, a movie musical where you see In the Heights did a lot of cool things with like animation, like even just in that one scene where like they were moving their hands and like they had doodles following them. I wish Dear Evan Hansen would have done something a little bit more like that to make it a little bit more cinematic and impactful, in my opinion. The other thing I would say about it that didn't fully translate well enough, I would say, is probably how whenever any of the characters would start singing, it literally felt like they were singing in that moment. And I have not personally experienced this with any musical up until this movie musical, because I will say, usually, like, you know, when people start singing in a musical, it's just happening. Like, it doesn't feel like they're singing in the moment, it just feels like part of the scene. This movie accomplished that almost awkward feeling of if you're all just having a family dinner and then someone just starts singing. It kind of felt like that, and it's funny because musicals have never felt that way to me, but this one did, and I don't know why it kind of rubbed me the wrong way, and it just made it feel a little bit more awkward. I kind of wish that they would have maybe not been so in between like that, and that they would have just let Ben Platt sing like he did in a Broadway musical. Maybe not like as intense or expressive, but definitely sing more directly and in a way that doesn't feel like Evan is literally sitting at his dinner table and he's just starts singing. Like, it just, I feel like they could have done more with it. I'm using In the Heights as an example because that also released this summer, so it's kind of in the forefront of my memory. But when they start singing in the Heights, it doesn't feel necessarily like they're actually singing. It feels like that's just this cinematic way of expressing their emotions. Whereas in Dear Evan Hansen, it feels like Evan is literally singing, and he's singing everything that he's saying, and everyone's just like, yes, I see it. And it just makes it feel a little bit more awkward, so I wish that they would have handled it more like they would have In the Heights and just kind of, you know, be a little bit more theatrical about it. I don't know exactly what to say. I just wanted to voice my few thoughts on that because I do overall think it was an absolutely beautiful video, which is why it is in my favorites video, because I would want to see it again. However, I do think going forward with making movie musicals, I do think Dear Evan Hansen fell short I had no issues with Ben Platt playing Evan in the movie musical because the way I look at it is COVID interrupted a lot in everybody's lives, and I do look at, like, you know, I think he just turned 26 or 27. He probably would have realistically been 24 or 25 when filming this if COVID had not happened. So I look at it like that, and it's just like he really did bring Evan to life on stage, and I think that there are so many amazing actors who have played Evan since then, but it does make me really happy to see Ben coming back to play Evan again for the movie, because how many Broadway actors would love to do that? So if they made like another Newsies musical, oh my gosh, how amazing would it be if they had Jeremy Jordan, even though Jeremy Jordan wouldn't be the right age for it. Like, you know what I mean? It's just kind of cool to see actors be able to come back and play their roles again. So for me, that's how I looked at it, and I really enjoyed it. And I actually do think they did a pretty good job of making him look younger, and the way he acts, it just breaks my heart. So he's just such an amazing actor. You could definitely feel for him in the movie. And so if you get the opportunity to watch Dear Evan Hansen, I highly recommend it, because overall it's just an amazing story that needs to be watched and shared. And my last favorite is a album favorite, and that is of course Olivia Rodrigo's album Sour. Now I, like everybody else, fell in love with her album Sour, and I honestly meant to mention this back in like one of my spring favorites because that's when I was listening to it a lot, but I don't think I ever did. So I'm mentioning it now because whenever I filmed my makeup tutorial for the album cover, which I will have linked down below for you guys to watch, I was listening to the soundtrack the entire time. It's just to kind of get myself in the mood and in the zone, and I just am so in love with her music. It is absolutely amazing. It's so hard to pick a favorite song from the album because I love all of them so much. Of course, Driver's License is just amazing, but I also really love Traitor and Favorite Crime. Those are so absolutely beautiful. And speaking of Traitor, I want to share this with you guys. I'm sure if you've already been listening to Olivia Rodrigo's new album, and if you happen to be a theater fan such as myself, I'm sure you've already heard this. However, I will have it linked down below for you guys to check out as well. But it is a mashup between Olivia Rodrigo's Traitor and Hamilton's Burn, and they mixed them together, and oh my goodness, it sounds so beautiful mixing those two songs together. And of course, like, the ending works out so insanely well, and I'm amazed with it. I think it's so freaking beautiful. So if you guys can, definitely check it out. I'll have it linked down below for you guys, but that song is just so well done. I love when people, you know, can think to combine these two songs, and it's so fun. So anyways, those are my September favorites. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below what you'd like to see next. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to my channel so you can see more of my videos. Also, don't forget that I have my Halloween season coming up, where I'm going to be uploading a new Halloween themed makeup tutorial every weekday for the entire month of October. So definitely make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that. So anyways, with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!